In today's competitive job market, your qualifications and experience are only just part of the story. How you present yourself often speaks before you do. You've secured that job interview, and now you have to decide what you wear to make an impression. To expand on this, we're joined by image consultant Nicola Bezuidenhout, who will give us some insight. Nicola, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mpo. Congratulations on securing that job interview. The next step would be how you can prepare for the job interview.
And that's important, isn't it? Because an employer will look for all sorts of elements, to know that this is indeed the ideal candidate. And you don't want to be too over the top when the job is not one that requires you to do so.
100%. So now that you've secured the interview, you have to step it up and do your homework and do research on the dress code of the specific company that you are going to apply for.
Yeah.
So some companies have a more formal dress code, other companies have a more relaxed dress code, some companies might not even have a dress code. And it's important that you understand that for the interview, you have to still step up your style more than normally that you would wear to work during the week to make a good impression.
Let's say I'm called for a corporate role. What should I wear?
So typically for men and for women, a safe guideline when it comes to that would be to wear navy instead of black. So here I've got navy trousers and I'll match it with a basic shirt, button-down shirt with that. And then for a corporate environment, I would definitely add a blazer for the finishing touch. Now, very important, it doesn't just stop there. It's also about the accessories, especially for the corporate environment. By rather choosing a shoe with a closed toe will give a more polished and professional appearance versus a shoe with an open toe. Okay?
Yeah. So you say rather go for navy as opposed to black. What kind of impression does black send?
So for black, let me show you here. I've got black trousers here. If you don't have anything else and you don't have navy in your wardrobe, black could work, but you'll see that it looks much more harsh and much darker versus the blue. Blue gives the impression that you are more professional, that you are cool, calm and collected when you are doing the interview, and it gives a more, I want to say, more professional and polished appearance.
What if I'm looking for a job not so corporate, in perhaps I'm looking for a job as a factory worker, and it's a role that I firmly believe that I'm capable of doing? I surely want to get there and get hired and not have the employer thinking that perhaps I may not be affordable or I'm perhaps overqualified. How should I present myself for such a role?
So in that case, where it's a little bit more informal, I would suggest going for denim. And a solid color denim looks more polished than the ripped jeans or the washed out jeans. Still pairing it with a shirt that might not be so formal, but a button down shirt like this, and adding a pump for the finishing touch will give a more polished, relaxed environment feel.
When it comes to affordability, what are we talking here? Are we talking really expensive clothing? How can one create the perfect balance?
Mpo, that is such a great question. I'm of the opinion you don't have to spend a lot of money to look good and polished and professional. It's not about the branding of the clothes. It's how you style it. It's how you put the outfit together and how you create like a sustainable wardrobe also for yourself. I'm now choosing a blue shirt with the navy, and then you'll go back to the blazer, for example. All right. So you don't have to buy expensive clothing to look polished and well put together. By planning a little bit and buying key pieces in your wardrobe and putting that into your wardrobe does make a difference and does make it easier when it comes to selecting outfits. But also stick to the basics. The basics are key. That would be starting off with the black pants, if you must, and then a white shirt. Start off with that and pairing it with a black shoe to complete the look. And then when it comes to your accessories, very important, not to show off flashiness or money or making it more expensive, but keeping your accessories small rather. I'm going to show you here. Let's take this for example. Imagine now that navy suit. This will be too much for a corporate environment.
Yeah.
Versus an earring that's a little bit smaller, this will complete the look much better.
Yeah, perhaps more subtle.
More subtle, 100%.
What about this paired with those shoes over there, the gold shoes?
The gold shoes.
What sort of impression would I make if I step in here, black trousers, and looking like this?
They're saying, boy, you are dressed up and ready to go to Monte Casino. That is for sure. But definitely not for the environment of an interview, job interview.
Yeah.
Remember, for a job interview, you want to dress more professional and step it up as you would wear normal clothes during the week in the working environment.
Yeah.
This would be a little bit too flashy, fun, but a little bit too flashy for an interview.
And that's important because there's a very thin line in terms of the impression you make as you apply for this job. And when it comes to really designing the perfect capsule, keeping it basic is what you've really spoken quite extensively about, Nicola. What about the impression in the minds of the employer as they see you dressed appropriately and looking confident in what you're wearing? How much of a chance does that increase you securing the job?
100%, Mpo, that's a great question. A capsule wardrobe, by sticking to the basics, that is the success recipe when it comes to setting up your wardrobe for the interview and for the workplace. And remember, it's not just about the like you said, about the interview. It's about your employer employing you and letting you do the job. And now you have a wardrobe already full of clothes that you can wear into the working environment.
Let's expand a little bit on the colors. I mean, you've got
Yes.
some nice neutrals here that stick out. There is black, there is a bit of pink. So you've secured the job and now you need to dress for the week. What sort of colors would you advise within the first week not to overwhelm the employer and give the wrong impression?
Darcy, 100%. I will stick to the neutrals. When in doubt, go back to the neutrals and stay away in the beginning, especially from the flashy prints and patterns that you see here, for example. Remember, ladies, even for an interview, you can wear a dress, but not so flashy, not such a flashy pattern and print. Rather go for something a little bit more subtle. Okay, but for their work environment, definitely. Now you've secured the job, now you want to have fun with your wardrobe. Splashes and pops of color can express your personality if you are someone who loves to wear color and enjoy it like that.
On that note, thank you very much. I hope that as job seekers are out there in full force, preparing overnight, wondering whether what is in your wardrobe will work, you've got some professional advice here from Nicola B, who's an image consultant, saying make sure that you choose the right colors, the right pieces, and do your homework, do some research ahead of the interview, and perhaps that will secure you the job.